And while many workers are being told to stay safer at home, some essential workers do not have that option. Grocery store workers, delivery people, and others.
There's a lot of people out there. So joining us right now is Brian Kabateck, who's an attorney specializing in employment law, protecting the rights of gig workers in these times. Good morning to you, Brian.
Very good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. First, we want to ask you, a lot of people have this question. Can your employer force you to go to work right now?
Yeah, that's a bit of a complicated question in these times. So let's look at first the fact that California has the most pro-employee law in the United States, better than any other state. And so what the law is going to say is if the employer is requiring you to come to work, they're an essential employer, they're not violating the law, they have to make reasonable accommodations for you. And those reasonable accommodations have to include safety measures, things that will protect you, things that will keep you safe. If you feel that your employer isn't doing that, you can immediately request that you be taken out. You can request for sick leave. Ultimately, you could report them to the state. You could file a lawsuit. So there's a whole wide range of remedies that are available to employers who don't follow the law. And that's really what we're trying to see, is that employers follow the law during these times.
Now, Brian, if you refuse to work, can you be fired or disciplined?
Yeah, so yes, possibly. If the employers followed the law and they've accommodated you, and they're not violating the law, and you refuse to work, you could be fired. Okay. If you're fired, or you could quit. You could then apply for unemployment. But it's very cautious, and it's really on the edge. The employer has to follow the law. Are they requiring you to do something that is inherently unsafe? Are they not making accommodations for you?
The other question I was wondering on the flip side of this too, let's say you really need to work right now. You need the money for your family and you've been not feeling that great. Are you legally required to tell others and your boss if you've tested positive for COVID-19?
You are required to tell anybody you come in close contact with if you have COVID-19, if you've tested positive. And that's not only your legal obligation, but it's really your moral obligation during these times. Now, your employer can't discriminate against you because of that. So they can't fire you because of that.
But you're legally, people are being asked to tell, just to protect the public for a safety reason in that aspect.
Absolutely. It's your moral obligation. It's also your legal obligation. Okay. You can't make somebody else sick.
But it's not criminal, though. It would be civil charges. Is that what it is?
Right. And your employer certainly has that obligation, because your employer has no obligation to disclose that you're sick, but they do have an obligation to tell fellow employees that somebody's become ill and disclose that information. Any employee would want to know that, right?
Right.
For sure.
Okay.
Wow.
Brian Kabateck, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it.